serial killer that's dressed like a clown and he likes to do clown stuff. Hi Comrades, happy Wednesday. If you're new here, I usually do horror movie reviews, horror series, and shock video reviews, but today's video is going to be a little bit different because it's part 2 of my Halloween specials. Yesterday's video covered vampires, and today's video is going to be all about scary clowns. So the fear of clowns is actually called colorophobia, and my cat is snoring so loud. ASMR. So the scary clown trope today, as we know it, actually came from two biggest clowns. The DC's Joker, who was kind of like the jester, and of course Stephen King's Pennywise. Nobody really knows who originally came up with the scary clown idea, but Edgar Allan Poe wrote a short story called Hop Frog, which is about a dwarf jester that tricks the king and kills him and 7 of his counselors. It's a pretty gruesome story, and I'll leave a link to it down below if you want to read it. It's a pretty quick read. The next sighting of a scary clown that I was able to find was in an 1892 opera called Pigliacci, which basically means the clown. It's about a guy who plays a clown in a play, and he kills his cheating wife and her lover while the audience thinks that it's a play. And then the last line in the opera is the comedy is finished. So it's supposed to be like an ironic tragedy. Then clowns started to come up in comics. The very first evil clown was actually called Frenchy the Clown. It was from a comic book that was published in the late 80s to the early 90s, which was called Evil Clown Comics. Very original. You know, he was actually the very first clown to not only be evil and kind of bitter, but he was the first one to have his way with the ladies. And then of course we had the infamous killer clown. His name was John Gacy. I believe his victim count was 33, and he was caught in 1978. There's actually a movie called Gacy based on what happened, but it's a stupid movie because it depicts the murders and Gacy as a clown as he's killing these people. But in reality, they didn't even know he was a clown. I can't imagine how the families felt when the movie came out and they saw the story of their loved one dying by a hand of a clown. I don't know, just a huge mockery of the situation in my opinion. In 1986 we got Pennywise. Pennywise the dancing clown, and he assumes the shape of whatever the child fears most. In my opinion, the first TV short series or whatever was extremely boring, aside from Tim, the guy that played Pennywise, but it itself was not creepy at all, even not because it was old, it was just not good. And then the new one just came out a few years ago, and the new one that just came out a few years ago I feel like wasn't scary enough. I don't know, they could have just made it so much more terrifying. I know that the first scene when Georgie gets snatched away by Pennywise, that one is the most shocking scene of the entire movie, and I don't understand why they put it in the beginning when they could have just added so many more scenes from the novel into the new movies and made it so much better and scarier. Wasn't it rated R anyways? I don't know why they were so afraid. Apparently a psychologist thinks that people are afraid of clowns because it's like a fake face. It makes them a potential threat in disguise, but I think that's stupid. I wonder if people were as afraid of clowns as they are today before Stephen King's It came out. Or are we all just placebo fearing the clowns? Is that even a term? Can you placebo fear? So while doing my research on scary clowns for this video, I realized that there are 2 types of clowns in horror movies. The first one is usually an actual person, a real person that is a clown, and they go through some kind of mental disorder or something happens to them, and then they start killing. And then there's a second type of clowns where they are supernatural beings that are not explained, like an It or a killer clowns from outer space. It's also such a twisty thing. Get it, twisty. It's also such a twisty thing to take such a happy character and make it into something so horrible, like a killer clown. Before I end the video, I wanted to mention some of my favorite scary clowns that I don't really get to talk about. So the first one would obviously be Twisty the Clown from American Horror Story. He was a character in season 4 of American Horror Story, but he wears a mask over his face. And underneath the mask, there's not much of a face left. And then the second honorable mention is Terrifier from the 2016 movie Terrifier. He's just a serial killer that's dressed like a clown, and he likes to do clown stuff. It's a really good movie. I highly recommend you check it out if you like scary clowns. Ooh, this is a good angle. Hi, comrades. Anyways, if you stayed this long, I really hope you subscribe because I post pretty often, at least once a week. If you like this video, give it a like, and I really hope to see my next one. Bye!